Hello and welcome to another video looking at a lost railway in West Yorkshire. And as you can see from the sign behind me, we're in Batley today, where if you were to come back 60, 70 years to Batley, there would have been an absolute mess of railway lines right here where we are now. Junctions and lines going off in every direction. Today, it's just one line straight through. But we're going to be looking at all these lines eventually, but not today. But we are going to look at one just up here. So this is what you see today. This is the main line coming through now. And then this very small building as it is today. And then just over here, we've got a former goods shed as well, still standing today. But the main Batley Station back in the day would have been all this site over here where this big warehouse is. All that would have been multiple platforms that way for all the many lines that came in here. And then you had the one that we're going to look at today, which is known as the Birstall Branch, which would have left just beyond that bridge there, but we'll get up there in a minute. See, I just called it the Birstall Branch, but it was also known as the Batley Branch, and it was also known as the Birstall Goods Line. So it's got quite a few different names depending on who you talk to and where you look. So we've picked a beautiful day to come out today. It is early March and the sun is shining. It's not quite warm yet, but we're getting there. But we've got our friend of the channel, Richie, with us again today. You may remember Richie from the Leeds New Line series that we did. But the sun is out. It is a bit breezy today, so I better watch my toupee because I don't want that blowing off, you cheeky buggers. So if I just zoom into this bridge for you. So that's Suthill Lane just there on the bridges. And you can see we've got 3 arches on the bridge. And that's for good reason, because our line that we're looking at today would have been in the left side, I would imagine, as it branched off just after. And then you also had one on the right here and the main one today through the central arch. So here we are up on the bridge on Suthill Lane. And again, you can see the goods shed over there for the station, and the Batley Station down there. You can see where one of the other lines would have been here, down the side, where they're doing a bit of work on it currently. And it's actually revealed, if you just look down there, if I zoom in for you, it's actually revealed one of the old platforms, or the edging anyway. You can just see it down there. And now we're on the other side of the Suthill Lane Bridge, looking towards the line in question that we're looking at today. So right here is the main line again. Our line would have branched off just to the left up here and then curved its way around and in that direction, which is where we're going to be heading. But I'm going to show you another before and after picture in a second. But before I do, related to the other lines in the area, like I said, there was a couple. You can see some infrastructure over here for one of the other lines that branched off. And then there was another one further back. All these lines we're going to cover at a later date, so I'll leave all that for when I do those lines. But before we do, you're probably wondering what this thing is here. Now this used to be a signal box perched on top of there, and it went out across to the other side. You can see some of the holes in the stonework there where the bridge would have been jutting out here. So like I mentioned, you can see some of the railway infrastructure here for another line. We're now heading underneath here to follow the Birstall Branch. So we're a bit further around from the line where it's branched off back here now, and it's headed towards us. We're now stood on, would you believe it, Bridge Street. And right here is where the line would have crossed underneath us, just there. As you can see, you can tell by the bricks, and also that the wall still remains. Probably not in its original form, but because there's housing on both sides now. But right here would have been the line down there. Again, hard to believe when you see a house next to the road now. Again, just a bit further down from the Bridge Street Bridge, this car park here would have been the track bed coming through from the bridge. And again, you can see it just levels out there and carries on. Then continues and joins that road down there to push on that way. Now there would have been a footbridge here according to the old maps, and we can just see a footpath down there now. We've just headed down the embankment just to get a closer view, and those houses, the terrace ones side on here, they were next to the tracks, so we're stood probably on the track bed right now here. So if you can just imagine that a lot of this rubble here wouldn't have been here, it would have been a bit further back. And then it pushed on straight forward through people's gardens now. But we think we found the footpath actually. When I said back there that the footpath crossed over, I think it was further down. It was just here because there's a footpath here now going down. And it would have been, we think, possibly on a bridge here, a stone bridge going down at a slope up to this road here. Because you can see in the hedge here, when I just said a minute ago about all this banking appearing, you can see these massive stone blocks here, look. They're all over the place. All over there, all down here. See the size of them there, look. So we've made our way further down the line, all the way to Carlinghow Hill. Now, we've headed up from this direction here. Now, between where we were a minute ago and here, there was only a bridge, which is long gone now. So we couldn't even show you any abutments or anything. So we've made it up a lot further because it's just housing here. But the line would have come on a raised level, sort of up here, in the backs of these houses here, directly across the road. And as you can see, we've got an abutment there. Now, directly at the top of that abutment was a station, and it was only short-lived, the station up there. It was called Carlinghow Station. And I mean, Richie's from this area, and even you didn't know there was a station there, did you? No, but as you can see, we've got one side of the abutment left across the road here. So as we're just making our way up, we've just remarked, could this have been an old entrance up to the station here? Because we've got a piece of fence in here, and then as you can see, the wall slopes up. But it looks like, you look in there, there's like a path through the trees there. So I'm reckoning that was a ramp up to the station here. And I forgot to mention when we were down there, but there was a goods shed as well. Probably, I don't know, 1/4 mile down there in the middle. Now we've just come up this top corner here. And as you can see, we've got an old entrance here. Now it's a public footpath today. But this, we believe, was the original entrance into the station from here. If you just look closely on the wall here, it does say to Birstall there. And then look, to Batley on that side. The station building, I think, was right in front of us here, or maybe just to the left, and the platforms would have been just up here. So we've just tried to get into where the station site was, but it's just fenced off and there's ivy and brambles everywhere. You can't get near it. So we've just ventured up a little bit, and we are now on the track level, as you can see. So I would imagine the platforms for the station would have been quite lengthy, so they probably would have come up to somewhere around here. And again, I'm not sure if they were both sides. Well, because it was single track, it probably wasn't. It's probably this side here. Further up, we've reached an overbridge that runs underneath where we are now. I did know this was here, I just forgot. But it looks, I mean, I'm stood right on top of it now. It's quite high up. Okay, we've just shimmied down this steep embankment here, as Richie found out. Did it hurt? Yeah. Well, here we go. And that's a great shot, isn't it? Look at the sun coming through there. In fact, that could be a thumbnail for the video. But you can see a lot of the top bits have gone, and they're all inside there. You can see they've piled a lot of the stone up. Let's go have a look through the fence. A lot of the stone blocks have been piled in here for some reason, probably just to block it up. But it is open the other side as well. Right. So we've reached the edge of Batley Park, as I call it. You can just see the boating lake down there. I used to come here when I was a kid, so I'm very familiar with this, and the bridge coming up in a minute. But we've just spotted this at the sides of the track beds here. Just spotted this little hole, which looks like an underpass, obviously under the railway line. Let's just have a quick poke inside, see what we can see. You can see it drops down a fair bit down there. So that is a foot tunnel underneath by the looks of it, and you can just see where it pops out here on the other side. Yeah, you can get in there. It's all been filled in. It's a bit muddy and wet in there. and it would have maybe been a footpath up here. So we've reached the bridge that I remember as a child. I always questioned this bridge when we used to come to the park, directly in front of you there. It is intact because you can walk through it now and into the woods at the back. See, as a little nipper we used to go off into these woods and explore as you do. I remember climbing around in all these little hillsides here and wondering what this bridge was. Who would have thought 25 years later I'd be working that out? And there we go, there's a nice shot of the bridge there underneath. Set you a bit closer. So like I say, if you come to the park, you've got a boating lake down there, you can head up through here and into the woodland at the back and have a little explore. So a bit further up on the line, and it's a bit strange at this point because we've followed, you know, a nice level track bed here from the bridge, carried on, and then here it just disappears down there. And then there's trees, there's houses. It's a bit strange. It looks like they've just completely demolished the embankment here. It's just a few facts about this line. I forgot I've not actually mentioned it yet. I'll put the dates in down below and all the information. There's 2 stations on this line. First one being the one we saw back there, Carlinghow Station, and then the next one, which is the Birstall Lower Station. Now this line did have passenger services, but only for a short period of time. It was mainly a goods line. That's also why the station further up was known mainly as the Birstall Goods Station. Now just as I'm talking, we've reached a bridge, so I'll just show you. This looks weird because it's covered in ivy and bushes. Just step back a bit.
You can't actually get across it.
Yeah, Richie said you can go over it. How weird is that? It doesn't look like a bridge at all until you get under it. You can see the stonework underneath. There you go, we're going to say. Is that iron maybe? It's hard to tell, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's a girder bridge, but it has got soot on it, as Richie said. So apparently this is Arthur Grove. On the old maps it looks like a small lane crossing the tracks here, or maybe just again a footpath as it is today. You can walk across it as a footpath. Richie's just spotted this piece of wood here. I'll zoom in for you. He said it could be an old signal post on the bridge there. So you can just see that the site for the station, which we're approaching soon, is starting to open up. So you would have had 2 lines heading straight through as the path does, and then branches coming off at the side here for sidings. Now there used to be a cattle shed, a large cattle shed, just over here on the right. Nothing there of it today, it's just housing. I've just discovered this sleeper fence at the side of the tracks. Just thought it was worth a look. And look what we've found hidden in the floor. So massive stone blocks in a straight line. Platform edge maybe? Because like I said, this was mainly a goods station. It was just a bit further up here. But they did do passenger services to here very briefly. Could this have been a little sideline where they pulled in for the passenger services and a short platform maybe? Who knows? So we're now at the station end. So you've got the A62 Leeds Road crossing Bradford Road there through Batley. There's the crossroads. And the big station or the goods building for the end of the line would have been right here, coming towards us from the main road. And then just round the back, as if by magic, I mean, you can see this, it stands out a mile off. You can see the big stone blocks there, and then it creeps up there. So all these gardens and houses are built on top of what looks like a station platform. But we're not 100% sure if it was a platform. But you can just see how, I mean, it looks platform-ish, doesn't it, with the big blocks on top here next to the tracks. I've got to say, the more we look at this wall, the more it does look like a platform to us. But anyway, I'm going to shove in a before and after picture, which is the only one I've got from here, which is taken from somewhere where these houses are here, looking in that direction towards the station building over there and an old mill that used to stand behind it. So I'm going to put that picture in just to finish the video off. But I hope you enjoyed that little short look at the Birstall Goods Line, or the Birstall Branch Line, whatever you want to call it. Big thanks to Richie for joining us on this one again. We'll see Richie on a future one very soon. We're not going to give anything away, but we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.